Welcome back to Tennis Near the Gods. I'm Alex. I'm joined alongside my brother Nicholas, and we are going to be recapping the first week of the Australian Open and previewing what's to come in the second week. So, 4 spots in the quarterfinals have already been filled, with Roberto Bautista Agut set to face off against Stefanos Tsitsipas and Frances Tiafoe to play Rafael Nadal. And we are waiting on the 4th round matchups of Novak Djokovic versus Daniil Medvedev, Pablo Carreño Busta versus Kei Nishikori, and Alexander Zverev versus Milos Raonic, finally with Coric versus Luca Pouille. And so we're going to start from the top of the draw and work our way down, starting with Novak Djokovic, the 1 seed, who has not been in convincing form. He has not been the same Novak Djokovic that we've seen in prior Australian Opens. His backhand when he played against Tsonga was shaky. A lot of errors coming off of that side in that match. A lot of tentative play. He has cruised through his part of the draw. He did win that match against Tsonga in straight sets. Had an easy first round against Mitchell Kruger. He did drop a set against Denis Shapovalov. But again, that's nothing to be worried about. That it happens in majors. These guys lose sets like that. He was up 4-1 in the third, ended up losing that set, and then 6-4, and then rallied off 6 straight games to win the 4th. And I think this match against Daniil Medvedev is going to be an indicator of whether or not he's going to win the tournament. Daniil Medvedev poses the perfect threat to Novak Djokovic at this point, with Medvedev being in top form. He plays very flat, serves big, returns well, and it will challenge Djokovic because, Djokovic will need to serve well to survive in that match because Medvedev will be putting a lot of pressure on him defensively. He plays through the court, very linear.
And Medvedev has been cruising through his part of the draw, beating Lloyd Harris very easily, as well as Ryan Harrison and David Goffin. All in straight sets. And Djokovic, I think this is kind of like a real opportunity for Medvedev to reach a quarterfinal, to break through, and really be pushing it into the top 10. As you see with Stefanos Tsitsipas upsetting Federer last night. He's got a real chance.
It's now more than ever. You're going to see... I still believe Novak Djokovic will be in dominant form for a little more than for at least this year. But then again, because of everything that's been happening, you never know. Djokovic is, again, not the same Djokovic, so he's not unbeatable at this point. There all are vulnerabilities to his game, and as we've seen, again, reiterating what you said, Stefanos Tsitsipas found a way against Roger Federer. You see a guy like Frances Tiafoe. There is somewhat of a changing of the guard that you're seeing. That these guys are starting to punch holes into that top 4. Andy Murray's gone, Stan Wawrinka has dropped out, but you got Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. And you're seeing guys starting to chip away at what they had established that was a set top contenders for the tournament. They're starting to get upsetted, with the exception of Djokovic, but it's coming at some point. So again, this match I feel poses a big threat to Novak and will be interesting to see. I do see him prevailing. And then you'll move down to that next matchup, Pablo Carreño Busta versus Kei Nishikori. And you look at Pablo Carreño Busta, who was almost out of the tournament in the first round. He was down 2-0 against Luca Vanni. He's had a tough last 8 months. He's been out for injury. He came back, played a warm-up tournament in Auckland in which he lost to Struff in the quarters. And he's fought his way through the draw. He beat Fabio Fognini, who did not look in good form. Even in his first two matches, was a little bit sloppy. And he's found his way into the 4th round, and he's facing a Nishikori.
And that's similar to Nishikori. Nishikori struggled in his first match.
I would say it's not the same because Carreño Busta is in better form than Nishikori has been coming into this match, with the exception of the last round where he started to come through. But Nishikori was down 2-0 against
the Polish qualifier,
Kamil Mazurczak, and then he played a 5-setter against Ivo Karlovic. But then again, these guys are professional athletes, and I do think that the wear and tear of those first two rounds will it's kind of going to wear off, and I see Nishikori winning this. I don't see a way in which a scenario where Karenia Busta comes out of this match. I feel like
I think Busta will take a set.
I don't even know about that. Busta is not he plays a neutral game. He is the inside-out dominant player, but Nishikori with his backhand, it's going to be hard to find that one. Nishikori is playing aggressive.
He's playing aggressive, but he is also giving up.
No, but you look at his last match. I think the last match against Salsa is the measuring stick that you use for this next round.
Yeah.
Because if anything, he would be in trouble against Salsa because of the residual effect of those first 2 5-setters.
Yeah, no,
definitely. But now that he's in the 4th round, had a straight set win, I think you have to take that with a grain of salt, what's happened before that.
A full day.
So I think you see a Djokovic-Nishikori quarterfinal, and then you move down again.
With that, if Djokovic does get through Medvedev, I don't see Nishikori.
Well, yes, we're going to get to that point. Djokovic will, again, the measuring stick is Medvedev match.
Definitely.
So you move down, you got the 4-seed Zverev, who has come through his portion of the draw and is set to face Raonic, which is going to be a battle with serving. Mm-hmm. I mean, Raonic has been in convincing form. He beat Kyrgios in the first round, thundering home serves. Kyrgios said he had never seen a service performance like that. And you have Zverev, who's looking better after surviving that second round against Chardy, in which he won 6-2 in the third, or 6-1 in the fifth set. Yeah. Had a pretty easy match over Alex Bolt, the Australian wild card, and I see him surviving this match, but I see it going 5. I think Raonic, again, the serve is going to it will give him the opportunities to win the match. And Zverev has a great serve, but Raonic utilizes it very well. And I feel Zverev has this tendency in big matches to drift backwards. No,
definitely.
You look at the ATP World Tour Finals, he was pushing forward. He was playing very aggressive. Yeah. But in Grand Slams, when the wear and tear comes, with the matches extending longer and longer, he drifts back. He goes into this mode where he's like, I'm gonna not miss. He can do it, but it's not beating a guy like Raonic.
But I have faith in Zverev to be
I think he comes out of this, but I don't see him getting past the next round because of this match. I think it pushes him back into this mode of, I'm going to go and I'm going to grind my way through. He's going to find a way to do it, but I don't think that's not the tennis that has seen him be successful.
But I think once he is able to break through into the quarterfinals, I feel like he will free up a bit.
No, I disagree. I think that's where the pressure will come. He's saying he's trying to convince everyone that he's playing without any pressure. There's no expectations, but there are expectations. It's realistic. The guy just won the ATP World Tour Finals. There are expectations that come with that. And I see his default mode still is to backing up and playing behind the baseline, less aggressive, and going into this mode where he's like, I'm not going to miss. But against like a guy like Raonic, who's going to be pushing forward, especially with the serve, and who's very, very good at the net and taking that stuff away. It's a dangerous matchup for Zverev. Mm-hmm. This is one where I could see definitely Raonic winning this. I feel like it's a toss-up. But I believe Zverev will come through. That's my hunch, at least.
And then on to the next match with George versus Pouille. Pouille just survived a 5-set thriller against Alexei Popyrin, the Aussie wild card.
Do we have a question about this match? I mean, George is going to win it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there.
I think Pouille being in the spot that he has not been... Last year was a terrible year for him compared to the year before that he had.
Yeah.
And I would say the same about this year. He lost lost 2 first rounds in the tournaments leading up to the Australian Open. Yeah. He lost in the first round of, was it Sydney? Did he play Sydney? And then he lost in the Brisbane, and then lost in the first round of Sydney.
Yeah.
To Nishioka, right? Or not Nishioka, to Andrei Rublev. He played Rublev.
Yes, Rublev.
And he hasn't really played anyone. Dominic Thiem pulled out against Popyrin in the third set. He was injured from the start. Pui, first round was against Kukushkin. Second round, he had Martyrer, and then he had Popperin.
And he struggled against Martyrer and Popperin, obviously.
I mean, Martyrer was a 4-setter, and Popperin is a 5-setter, and now he's going up against, like, Borna Curic, who's an absolute pit bull. Yeah. Who's putting everything back in the court. He's started to put together a lot more offense. His forehand's gotten a lot bigger. He's looking for more offensive opportunities. And again, I think that's why he's definitely beating Zverev. Because he can play offense. His serve has gotten bigger. And he's an absolute pitball. He puts the ball back in the court. And it's definitely wearing down Pui. Pui has a ton of errors in his game.
Yeah.
Plays very loose, but again...
I think if Zverev goes to 5 against Raonic, then
Torch will
win.
Torch is making the semis.
If he doesn't, I think Zverev will take out Torch. He's done it before. He did it last year, in Miami. In
I see a Djokovic Torch semifinal out of the top of the half of the draw.
I've got Djokovic Zverev.
I completely disagree. I think.
But then what happens? What happens if Raonic plays Torch? What would happen there? You think?
Torch wins.
Yeah, I do see that also.
I think Torch is the better player. As I said, I see this for this year. I think this is the year Torch makes a big push. A potentially top 5 push.
Wow.
He came up with great tennis in spots last year, and this is the year to say...
To really put it all together.
Well, is to consistently have it.
Yeah.
We know he can play this high-level tennis. He's not the same as a Djokovic,
especially
in terms of dominance. But he is someone who can be top 5 and be 5 in the world at the end of this year. And that's what I see. Especially with... You don't know what's going to happen with Fed. I think
that matchup with Tsitsipas...
I think it's a great matchup for Federer.
I don't think so. Tsitsipas was really big.
I was shocked when I woke up in the morning and saw that. Okay, so we're going to move down to the bottom half. So you have Roberto Bautista Agut face to play Stefanos Tsitsipas. And you have to say, Roberto Bautista, he's 9-0 to start the year. Wins over Djokovic, Berdych, Cilic, Wawrinka, Khachanov. That's Khachanov's 10, Cilic 6, Djokovic 1. Those are 3 top 10 wins to start off the year.
Yeah.
And he's had absolute wars. He started off with Andy Murray, 5-setter, then John Millman, 5-setter, straight sets against Khachanov, and now another 5-setter against Cilic. And he looks fresh, which is shocking.
He did not show any signs of tiredness.
Moving like a mongoose on amphetamines. It was ridiculous. So I see him winning that against Tsitsipas. I think it's a perfect matchup for him. Yeah. Tsitsipas is... When I'm watching that match against Basilashvili against Tsitsipas, Tsitsipas is not playing... Again, Basilashvili hits very big, so it's hard to play aggressive, but his serve is not there, and I think Roberto Bautista Agut takes advantage of that. He does not give away much, and he creates a lot of offense. And you look at how Roberto's been playing, he's been serving phenomenally. Especially off the second serve. Especially off the second serve. In the Cilic match, he won 60% of his second serve points,
and
which
Roberto
is huge.
Really has only gotten better throughout this tournament.
The Khachanov, yeah, I would agree, actually. And I look at Tsitsipas, and while he will be, again, I see it being a 4 or 5 setter, but I think toughness-wise, Bautista Agut is just going to grind him out. He's gonna draw out errors, and he creates his offense with the forehand. His backhand is penetrating through the court. It's still his grip limits him in what he can do. But it's
such a tough ball to hit against because it's so flat.
But then again, the lefty one-hander does have more leverage or the lefty the one-hander, the righty one-hander can get more whip on the ball. But the way he's hitting the ball, serving, and he finds forehands. His inside-out, inside-in patterns have been unbelievable, especially off the slice, which Tsitsipas uses. And this is his first quarterfinal. Same for Tsitsipas. And the way he's been playing, confidence has to be involved. I know Tsitsipas just beat Fed, but Roberto has not lost a match this year.
Yeah.
A match. So, again, I'm taking him. You look at what Tsitsipas did. I believe that he survived. I survived a match that I thought Basilashvili should have won. Basilashvili was the better player.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he was the better player.
He was the better player. He was the better player.
No.
He was dealing with a foot injury throughout the tournament.
Yes.
Throughout the tournament, and you could see it in that match. But then
he's not the better player then.
He was the better player.
He gives too much away.
But that was the thing. He was using the foot thing. He wasn't moving in spots, and then played great tennis. He had his opportunity,
and he
doesn't
have that serve to back him up.
What do you mean he does not have that serve to back him up?
Because when he's not...
Did you watch the match? He has a serve.
No, he has a great serve, but
then what's there not to back up? He has a serve.
When he starts to miss his serve, there's not as much weight behind it. There's not as much to back it up.
No, Nicholas, there's a lot to back it up. He has more to back it up than Tsitsipas in terms of ground strokes.
I feel like Tsitsipas is a much better base.
No, Tsitsipas just survived in that match. He put enough balls in.
Exactly.
I mean, even in the breaker, I think Basilashvili missed 5 returns. All in this zone. They weren't aces. The fact that it went 9-7 in that third set breaker was unbelievable. But, again, neither here nor there. Basilashvili was dealing with injury, played a long 5-setter the round before against Chiraglia.
Yep.
And Tsitsipas also, too, had to come through wars. He played 2 4-setters. The last one was against Troitsky.
He played Berrettini and then Troitsky.
And, again, he's a really good competitor, but I think it comes down to who is the better competitor in this match, and I give the edge to Roberto Bautista Agut. Semi-final for him. And then you move down, you got Tiafoe, big foe, versus Nadal. And watching Tiafoe play has been the most fun thing in this tournament. It's huge.
Yeah.
His forehand is gassed up.
He took out Anderson and now an informed Seppi.
You can't even say informed Seppi. Seppi is just a consistent guy.
But he's been playing well this past couple weeks.
He's always there. I feel like he's always in the mix in the Australian Open in that third round. He's beaten Kyrgios twice before in the 2 years prior, something like that. So Tiafoe versus Nadal. I don't see Tiafoe winning against Nadal, but it's going to be an unbelievable match.
I think Nadal will just break him down.
Tiafoe's going to have to redline. He's going to end up redlining. You saw the match against Dimitrov, and he was hanging on for dear life. He looked gassed. I thought he was almost playing dead possum because he came alive in that 5-all return game in the fourth, but Dimitrov missed a couple first serves, and Tiafoe came in behind like 3 second serve returns. So, and you have to wonder about Dimitrov because
that was
disappointing. That was the match to win to get back to Nadal. He does not look like the Dimitrov that got to 3 in the world.
No,
it's not happening. I thought it might happen after seeing Brisbane. But this was the opportunity to get to that Nadal match, to get that rematch of the semifinal he missed out on 2 years ago. But after that, it was his match to win, in my opinion, even though he was down 2-0. After taking that third set, Tiafoe looked dead.
Yeah.
And he had plenty of break points. Tiafoe
and he also
was redlining, too, on that second serve.
In the second set as well.
I think what's going to make you look at Nadal, and he's just been murdering people. Berdych, he was up 6-0, 6-1, like this. And, again, he's going to force Tiafoe to redline, but Tiafoe has been redlining. If Tiafoe comes in fresh, it's going to be an absolute battle. Still Nadal wins. If he comes in hampered, it's going to be over in
even if Tiafoe is fresh, I think Nadal will win in straights.
Tiafoe
will be close.
You look at how he's been playing. The match against Dimitrov, His average second serve was 100. He was bombing his second serve for a second serve. He was playing very aggressive. And I think, his backhand's bigger now. It's less of a bunt, and it has more acceleration on it. He's driving it through the court more. He's coming up to net a lot more, too.
Yeah.
Which is something you have to do against Nadal. You can't let him stand behind the baseline and just do his thing. You're going to have to bring it to him. And he does have the firepower to punch holes in Nadal. That's what makes this matchup exciting. Again, even if he's fresh, Nadal is the better player.
Yeah.
He will outlast that, because I do not think he has that tennis yet. His maturity in terms of shot selection is not there. You look just based off of the matches you've seen that have already happened in this tournament. There's been a lot of spots where I've been like, what is he doing? A lot of serving and volleying against Dimitrov with not that big of a serve. I know he was tired, but I think especially against Nadal, you cannot do that. You give the guy a glimmer of hope in a game, even when he's down 15-40 on your serve, and all of a sudden it's deuce. So, again...
And then going into the semifinal matchup with presumably Nadal, and if Bautista Agut does make it there, I see Nadal rolling through that match without much of a problem. Bautista Agut has already played 18 sets of tennis. It'll definitely be more. I think I don't think he'll be able to get through Tsitsipas in straight sets.
Yeah, he's not. I don't see him being Nadal. Nadal's form is impressive. Right now, I would say he's the favorite to win, just based off of what Djokovic has put out there.
Djokovic,
when you compare the two.
But it is the early rounds.
It's the early rounds. It means nothing for Djokovic. But I see a Djokovic-Coric semi, a Roberto Bautista, an all-Spanish semi with Roberto Bautista, Agut, and Nadal, and then you get a Djokovic-Nadal final. That's going to be unbelievable.
And then there's been a lot of losers this tournament, with Hyun Chung and Kyle Edmund both going to be dropping
a lot of points that are going out the window.
Yeah, and as well as Nick Kyrgios, who's going to drop to about 70 in the world. So in some tournaments, some 500s, he's not even going to be able to get into them.
Yeah, so we're looking at a Djokovic-Nadal final, we think. And that, what do you think about that?
Djokovic-Nadal?
Hot take right now.
Hot take? I'm going with Nadal. Even if Djokovic starts to impress us with Medvedev and then his semifinal and his quarterfinal and semifinal matches, I still see Nadal winning. I don't even think it will be go to 5 sets. I see him winning in 4.
I'm going to agree with you here. I see Nadal, and this is what's going to make it interesting. Nadal wins this. He has 18 Grand Slams, right? That's 2 off from Fed. Fed's not winning another one. He's definitely going to win the French. That's 19. And he's got another French in him. That's 20. I don't know. We might be looking at the best ever in Nadal after this. Fed's opened the door.
If Nadal is able to win Wimbledon, which...
No, it's not even Wimbledon.
I know, but if he does, then he cements himself.
No, he needs to get past 20. He gets past 20, which is looking... He wins this.
I don't think if he gets past 20
if necessarily... He gets... Yes, it's on... Nicholas, consistency... No, okay. But this is an argument for another day. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you join us next week for a recap of the entire tournament and what we're going to see going on from the Australian Open.
And just a shout out to Alex, whose bracket is currently 2 in the world. Mine is about 300. Just an impeccable top quarter of the draw.
Riley Opelka. Come on.